TouchLine, sponsored by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after. And Powerade. Pause is power.
Hello and welcome to another edition of TouchLine here on TV8. I'm your host, Damien Best. Well, it is the day after what we used to call Super Sunday, but it's a difference today's show. We had no action in the BFA Premier League over the weekend. That's because it's an international break, and we've got action in terms of the national team off to do some action as well and make the country proud. And we've got one of our special guests in studio with us today, and is none other than the president of the Barbados Football Association, Mr. Randy Harris. We say good evening to you, Randy.
Good evening. Good evening to all the viewers, and I am really happy to be here to discuss football.
Fantastic. As we mentioned before, international break, so we've got lots to discuss. And this show, powered by Dasani and Powerade, and of course, it would not be possible without the Barbados Football Association. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about facilities, national squad, the whole gamut. Stay tuned.
TouchLine, sponsored by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after. And Powerade. Pause is power.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solar Ray Microbiome Probiotics and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000.
TouchLine, sponsored by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after. And Powerade. Pause is power.
Back here on TouchLine on TV8, of course, we're talking all football. We've got a special guest in the house. It's the president of the Barbados Football Association, as I mentioned before, Mr. Randy Harris. Now, the special announcement today as well, the national team squad has been named for the action in the CONCACAF series, which has been put together in the international window. The team is off to Bonaire. I do believe that they might have arrived already in Bonaire, but Randy is here with us to discuss about the BFA Technical Center and much more. But we can tell you a number of overseas base players are in that Barbados squad. It's going to be a very strong squad. It's one of the strongest I've seen on paper in a little while, and they're hoping to string together some performances and make Barbados proud. Randy, first of all, international break. Talk to us about this Barbados squad and your hopes and aspirations as you go forward and try to build the program.
Well, I won't go in depth with the squad, but what I can say is that CONCACAF has provided the opportunity for us to play a couple of international games. What it does, it should help with our ratings if we do well. And I think it also gives our national team the opportunity to play at that level. But I look forward to good things happening. As you said, this time we were able to introduce, because of the FIFA window, a number of our professional players overseas, and we look forward to some good performances.
Yeah, I mean, how difficult is it? Because a lot of people think that you can just get the overseas players into the squad at any time, willy-nilly. I mean, there are certain things that have to come into play.
Well, first of all, we have to formally rate the clubs. Obviously, they are professionals on contract, and the next thing that their club would do would be to look at their schedule. If it clashes with games that they perceive to be important to them, they find it difficult to release the players. But most of the time now, we are playing internationals within the FIFA window, so that there's not really an excuse. But obviously, some coaches, they are very ticklish when it comes to releasing their players. They don't want to have them injured, especially when they're that important to the team. And then we have to fund them.
Of course.
Barbados are back. I mean, we don't mind, because we expect that they would lift the quality of football So we are happy to see them and to have them back. And I just want to say that these players who are returning, they developed their football in Barbados. What they did is just put in a little bit more hard work.
Yeah, fantastic. We're going to have the list for you up on screen shortly. It includes Thierry Gill, Andre Applewhite is in there as well. We've got a youngster as well, young defender, Leon Elliott, who joins the squad as well. So how many overseas players are really chomping at the bit to really get into this Barbados side, though?
Well, we have a number, I believe they could be up to like 25. But obviously, we need to see them perform. Though some of these players come to Barbados when the national team is training, and some of them don't adjust to the heat. Some of them seem to come just to go to the beach. And obviously, we want people who are committed to helping Barbados to perform well.
Right, and you can see the nucleus of the team. You must be so proud as well, the number of players who seem to have been tickling the international scene a bit more. A number of players have gone off overseas, and you know that shows that they're getting exposure and people are watching.
Yes. Let me say that there's a program, a global program, put on by FIFA called the FIFA Plus. And what many Barbadians may not know is that we have been showing our games globally, all over the world, on the FIFA Plus. And what it does is gives our players the opportunity to be seen. That is why I am really concerned when I hear that players are not training and practicing with the team as they should, because the opportunity is there. Football is not only played in England professionally. We have the opportunity to show the world that individually we can compete. When we get there, the experience of the coaches will help us to understand the game better, right? But coaches look for a lot of things from players. They look for the commitment. You know, Premier League is our highest league, and any player who's playing in the Premier League should aim to play his best football, right? It is not just for his team, it's for Barbados, and of course the BFA.
Yeah, national pride at stake. We spoke to head coach Kent Hall as well. We're going to have a listen and to hear what he talked about in terms of the build-up to this CONCACAF series as well.
So this tour is a continuation of the CONCACAF series that we started in November last year. For those initial two matches, we put a focus on trying to identify some more players that could bring more depth to our senior national selection. And for this time around, we've brought in a number of overseas-based players because we're really starting to focus in on our final preparations for September in the Nations League, which is obviously the main task at hand. We have to be a lot more results focused now, and so I'm expecting some good solid performances. I'm excited to have some of the guys in. We didn't get everyone that we wanted because at this time of the season, for various people, it's a tricky time where they have their club commitments. But I'm confident that we've got a really strong group of players and that we can really start to make things take shape and give us a good platform for later this year.
Yeah, that's Kent Hall, the head coach there of the Barbados Senior Men's Football Team. Randy, we spoke a lot about the national program, and we know we're operating at the moment before the technical director. We're going to delve a little bit more into that squad, and Margaret Rich Boyce is going to join me on set as well. But talk to me about that aspect. We are operating without one at the moment. What is the status of that?
Well, the truth is, I just want you to know that here in Barbados, in January, we had a workshop for TDs, and it wasn't just for the Caribbean, because there were 4 Caribbean teams invited, and Barbados was one, and also teams from South America, Brazil, including Brazil and Argentina. Their technical directors were here. And coming out of that, FIFA, because of its vision of development, is taking a bigger part in helping to choose the kind of technical director that will fit into their program. Of course, they finance the technical director, and we expect that when the technical director has taken up his post, we will also get a talent development coach from FIFA. And these are to really look at the grassroots of football. We got a plan for the future. And the truth is that our youngsters are the most important right now, because it's not only the football that they can play, because I tell you, Barbadian young footballers, they copy everything they see, right? But there are other aspects to the game. There's a matter of how to deal with a teammate. There's a matter of how to finance themselves if they find themselves with a contract, right? There are a number of things outside of the football. Obviously, you have to be able to sell yourself.
Correct.
And that is true speaking. So all of these things we have to look at now. What we have been doing for a while in the BFA, in the recent past, we have been sending players for tryouts. And, you know, because somebody has some contacts and they do that. But when the player gets there, we have never really thought him how to deal with a professional situation.
Professional scenarios as well.
Yeah. Exactly. So he leaves Barbados with what he's accustomed to. And many of the times they fail. So once we see these things, we try to correct them.
So in essence, then the TD is there to assist with all those and implement certain programs. Have you underscored anything in particular that you want the TD to focus on as a wide spectrum? Football
education. Getting the young players to understand the game and how it is played. Because for a while now, we have been concentrating on individual players who are talented. But then a time comes when everybody kind of get to that stage and he's no longer an outstanding player, right? What we have to do is to get him to understand how to use the ball, what positions to be in, to help his team to increase the chances of being a champion.
Fantastic. This is time to take another pause, folks, here on Touchline. When we come back, Anwar is going to take a closer look at that national squad, and then we're going to jump in and get some explanations for the BFA Technical Center and look at what that development will look like in the future.
Touchline, sponsored by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after. And Powerade. Pause is power. Touchline, sponsored by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after. And Powerade. Pause is power.
Touchline on TV8, of course. We've got Randy Harris, the president of the BFA, in the building. Alongside him now is Anwar Goodrich-Boyce, my colleague. Of course, he's going to take a look at that national squad. I mentioned before, I give you a little preview, Thierry Gill is in the lineup as well. He's got a couple of new faces in there. Overall strength, Anwar, out of 10, where you rate this Barbados team and their chances against St. Vincent as well as St. Martin?
No, Bonnier.
Yeah, I think that this is a very strong Barbados team that's going off to play in these two FIFA matches in terms of international games. When I look at this squad, it's a mixture of experience and younger players adding. Obviously, Leon Elliott would be one of the stars in terms of the highlights of this team. It's the first time that he's named in the Barbados squad. And if you look at the research in terms of, this is a player who was at Crystal Palace in terms of their academy, and he's now an Ipswich Town professional player. So he comes in as a professional. He's a right back. For just to give the viewers and listeners a bit of a context in terms of what position he plays, a right back player, and he's someone that I've been tracking for a long time, and I'm actually happy to see him now get the call up to the Barbados team. Thierry Gale is back, and you know, whenever fans hear about Thierry Gale, he's one that's been very excited. A professional, plays for Bolton, and if we look at the whole makeup of this squad though. A number of seasoned campaigners in the team.
Rashad Jules is there as well.
Yeah, Nadrib Butcher. He's another Barbadian who would have secured a professional contract, who's playing his trade in Portugal. Good to see Ethan Taylor back. I think that this is a side that will win these two games. This is a very strong local based team added with these players who are coming in. And like we heard what Kent Hall said, you know, this is an opportunity for him to see some of his players to get a look, because the target really is Barbados doing better in the CONCACAF Nations League, which is scheduled for September. So this is a good opportunity for Hall as the head coach to get a gauge to see, you know, some of the players. More or less, he could chop and change in terms of tactics and strategies as well. Look at his formations, and you know, I think I'm excited about this team, Damien.
Yeah, this is building towards the future. Group C, they're placed in Group C. Relatively pretty straightforward in terms of some of the opponents. You can obviously go online and analyze all you want, but I'm sure there are a few tactics that Mr. Hall wants to implement. I know we spoke to him off camera last time he was here, and to talk about that attacking prowess as well. We need goals. Yeah, and no better man to bring in than Thierry Gale and Nadrib Butcher. These are guys that have been doing well overseas. I'm not seeing Reece Stephen, but as the president said, you know, all players are not available at this time, and the clubs sometimes may not want to release the players for whatever reason. But this is a side that I'm happy to see in terms of the attacking. Gerard Otterson from a home standpoint. Rashad Jules as well. He's one of the players who have been exciting us for quite some time. And yeah, it's good. Goals win matches. And I think once the Barbados team is strong in the attack and the defense, of course, we could do well going forward in the future. Yeah, thanks so much, Amar, for your input and looking at the Barbados senior men's national teams there. Get ready for this CONCACAF series coming off later on this week. And we wish them all the very best. We're going to switch gears just a little bit, and Randy, and talk about the BFA Technical Center, a facility that is still in the process of completion and looking to fully develop. We've seen the investment of government in a number of facilities around the island. So sports, has taken the spotlight, so to speak, when we look at infrastructure, what is happening in the National Stadium, and, having all these other aspects to help support sports. Where are we in this technical center? I know it's been long awaited. The fans, they're waiting for it.
Well, I just want to say your statement made me happy, right? Because I'm one of the people who usually says that in Barbados, if you are not academically inclined, is that you're not really taken seriously. And I am glad to see that the government is trying to set up facilities for sport and sport development. So this is a real positive. As far as the BFA's facility is concerned, let me say that we have run into a snag. No fault of the Football Association, no fault of the contractor or engineers, but there was a mix-up between the person who ordered the material to complete the facility. So we are trying to get it straightened out, because nobody wants to take responsibility for it. And we have some measures that we were advised to take. So that is where that is. I mean, it's nearly heartbreaking, because we expected that it would be up. We will have more room for the players, and we'll be able to start our dormitories. And the dormitories are very, very, very important to the BFA. The BFA deals with all sectors of this society, and of course the shootings and things that are going on, we feel a way about it. We just feel it shouldn't be happening. Why is it happening? And we looking to really work with footballers first, right? That have to leave school at 16 and don't know what is going to happen at all. We want to have them in our dormitories during the day, and we will deal with them not only on the pitch. The pitch will be the main thing, but we will try to give them certain skills and let them know that they're appreciated.
Right, so linking with that, what timeline? Because, you know, a lot of people will be asking, Randy, you know, we were talking about this for a little while.
Yeah.
Since it set you back so much, what timeline can you really realistically look
okay,
at?
let me say this. There's still quite an amount of funds available to start the project. I mean, we could go out, we could do what we have to do and start it. So we are looking at really dealing with it as far as the funding would carry us. And then this is the FIFA Forward 04 after the World Cup. So we'll be getting funding to help with facilities. And I hope that we'll be able to finish that and also complete the dormitories.
Yeah, fantastic. The vision for it, I mean, on paper, it looks brilliant in terms of what we really get to see at international levels. So I'm looking forward to see what will be the final look of that facility. But I know that you're working hard on it, and I hope that it comes to fruition sooner than later.
Yeah.
Well, we have got other segments coming up, including Link Up. We're going to have a chat with an overseas bass player as well. He is on our Zoom, and we're going to say good evening and welcome. Let's see if he's hearing me loud and clear. Are you hearing me loud and clear?
Devontae.
Yeah, Devontae is online. I don't think he's on mute at the moment, but we'll wait to see. Devontae is our special link-up guest. I can see him staring at the computer, so maybe he'll see the signal and get going, but he can hear us. Devontae, good evening to you. You're on mute, I think. Can you hear me now? Oh, we're not hearing Devontae at the moment.
We're not hearing, but he's hearing.
Yeah, but you're hearing me loud and clear. We're going to get that fixed shortly. But as I mentioned before, a number of overseas players who've been doing really, really well. And, you know, we've got a few more in the pipeline. I mean, the scouts have been all over the FIFA Plus feed, as you mentioned, and they've been watching from since last year in the other competitions. Devontae, you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic. So Devontae, first of all, welcome to TouchLine here on TV. It is our link-up section of the show. Talk to us about your stint. Where are you now at the moment in the world, and what is happening with your football?
So I recently came to Europe. I'm at Spartani in Moldova. We're currently playing the Superliga. We're a Superliga team in Moldova, and we're currently fighting relegation right now. So, yeah.
And how did you get the opportunity, just to let everyone know, you know, for someone to be scouting, looking down in the Caribbean and finding Devontae somewhere in Barbados, 166 square miles? How did that happen?
So, so I left Barbados and I went to college, and I was playing NCAA Division I at the University in Central Arkansas. And an agent came across my highlights, and he reached out to me and he told me that he think that I could be a good player and he think that he could help me become a professional. And we had a few conversations, and I signed the agreement with him, and then we got the offer from Spartani, and I think it was a good option for me, so I decided to go.
What are the playing conditions like? How is it? What is the weather like? I mean, all these things a lot of youngsters want to know. What are some of the daily routines you have to go through?
So at first, like in the beginning of the year, when I first got here, it was very cold. So I was struggling a bit. But after, like, it's getting a bit warmer now, and I'm able to just go training and enjoy and play football. But I think the hardest thing was adapting to the weather change at first. But I think it's good now. So.
Well, I wish you all the very best. What's your next state in terms of fixture this week?
So there's the international break, but the day after the break, we have an important playoff game where we need to win because we're trying to stay up in the first tier, the top tier in the league. So it's a very important game, and that's like the following weekend after this weekend. So.
All right. Fantastic. Well, we wish you all the very best, Devontae, and thanks so much for joining us here on Touchline and the Link Up segment. And we know you continue to fly the flag high over there. Thanks so much. That's Devontae there, international-based player as well, getting an opportunity and being scouted. That's what we love to see and hear about. Time to take another pause, and we're going to get ready, or we're going to go straight into actually our goals of the week. Think about the amount of goals that we've had in the halfway stage of the BFA Premier League. Let's take a look.
Touchline, sponsored by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after. And Powerade. Pause is power.
2 minutes from regulation time. Jadon McCullin splits two, then wins the foot race to the 18-yard box. Taking candy from a baby. 3-zip.
2 minutes to go before halftime. Rashawn Braffett into Bell, who unleashes a thunderbolt. Allerton 3, Lions 1.
Kickstart on the move. 62nd minute. 3 players advancing towards the goal. Jamarco Johnson has a crack. Top tier finish. Goal of the week nominee. 2-0.
Goalless after 37 minutes. Before this happened, from defense to attack, Shane Codrington plays a clever ball into Shaquille Bell. First attempt was saved, but the rebound is priceless. Actually, it was worth all 3 points. Allerton 1, Wales 0, the final score.
Weymouth Wales in white versus Pride of Gall Hill. 8th minute straight off the training ground and into reality. Rashad Smith on the volley. Buried. That is one of the top goals of the season. 1-0 to the defending champions at halftime.
Second encounter, Paradise in their blue and yellow taking on Britons Hill United. 3rd minute in, exquisite through ball from Shaquan Clark to Sharon Hoyt, who picks his spot, nutmegs the keeper. The Dover-based boys ahead.
The Paradise engine room at full tilt. Wonderful touch from Kamal Griffith, measures, and goodness me, the top goal of the season so far. Hit the replay button, please. Worth the admission and more.
Wales never took their feet off the gas. Keon Atkins arriving like a jet plane at the near post. 4-1, the score. Touchline, sponsored by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after. And Powerade. Pause is power.
Yeah, that was a look at the goals as we complete the first half of the BFA Premier League season. We've come to the end of the show. I want to say thanks so much to the BFA President Randy Harris for joining us on set. Of course, this show would not be possible without the Barbados Football Association. Randy, we want to say thank you so much on behalf of TV and the entire crew for giving us the opportunity to showcase Barbadian talent. And I want to say thanks as much to Powerade and Dasani as well.
Yeah, well, I have to thank you, CBC, for coming up with the idea to have such a show. And we are very, very happy to be a part of it.
Thank you so much. So we've come to the end of another show here, Touchline on TV8. Until next week, remember it's the international break. We continue to analyze all the things surrounding the national team. Well, that is it for me here on TV8 and Touchline. Thanks so much to my producer as well tonight, and Margaret Boyce, and the entire technical team. Until next time, goodbye.